Welcome to Women's Sports Weekly, where women's sports happen every day, but we talk about it once a week. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Carolyn. Women's Sports Weekly is a podcast where we discuss the latest news, explore interesting stories, and share our love for women's sports. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at WomensSportsWeeklyPod. Follow us and rate us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Send us an email at womensportsweeklypod@gmail.com, and we may feature your email on our listener experience zone, The Les. The Les is a segment of our show. It is also what we are affectionately calling where we record in our basement. And this is where we live now. We live in the basement.
We sure do, because house projects are once again underway.
So off camera, you can't see it right now, but our couch has become our bed, and we have been living here downstairs because our upstairs, where our bedroom is, we ripped out all the carpet. And by we, I mean we paid someone to do it. Nothing makes me happier than to say those words. We paid someone to rip out all the carpet, and there was beautiful wood floor underneath, and they are refinishing our wood floors. So we are not able to be upstairs. We have to be down here. And on top of that, there are so many fumes in the air that I feel like this is going to be a very interesting episode.
We slept through the fumes. You said last night before bed, are we going to die?
I don't even remember saying that.
But here we are. And I have to ask you a question. Is Shrek now a women's sports fan?
Oh, because I only wear my Shrek t-shirt?
Yeah, what is that?
Okay, let me show everybody. Put this down. My shirt says, "Can't today, I'm swamped." And not enough people, I feel like, make comments about it, because look at this Shrek.
Our listeners only cannot see the shirt, but it is a shirt filled with different versions of Shrek, and it is pretty much the ugliest shirt I've ever seen.
It's real ugly. But someone from Run Club had it on one time, and I was like, I need that shirt.
Oh, I don't remember that. That's funny.
And I was like, wow, I need that. And so I ordered it, and I love Shrek, and I love this t-shirt. I did get coffee this morning, and the barista was like, I love your shirt.
Wow.
But some people don't comment on it, and I'm like, this is a funny shirt. Why aren't you commenting on it?
I would not. I'd be like, that girl's weird.
What makes me weird?
The shirt's weird.
I love it. I want to wear it every day, but I have worn it in a couple episodes. I took a nice long walk in this shirt today. It's a good one.
Good for you.
Thank you. Shrek is a women's sports fan.
Okay, good.
His favorite team is...
I would think the Storm, because he's the same color as them.
Yeah, or a team with many layers. The Storm's got layers, right? Like an onion?
Yeah.
What team is most like a donkey? The Dallas Wings? Maybe he likes the Dallas Wings.
Okay.
So we have that going on at our house. Also, this past weekend, we had a barbecue at our house with Run Club friends.
Yes, that was fun. In our backyard, we had our Run Club over, and it was great. Great time to hang out outside of Run Club. And I woke up early Sunday to hike with some friends, also friends who were at the barbecue. So I wasn't alone in being at the barbecue and then waking up early. I am tired right now, feeling it. And you decided not to go on this hike. You missed out on a pretty one.
You all were getting up way too early for the hike. And on top of that, it was a lot of elevation gain. It was 3,000 feet, over 3,000 feet in 3 miles. And pretty much...
Well, the hike was 7 miles.
Oh.
But it was basically straight up for 3.5 and then straight down for 3.5.
Yeah.
There was no rolling hills in this elevation. It was just a climb.
Yeah, and I know anything over 1,000 is difficult, so 3,000 is a lot. You all were getting up very early, and this is why we have Run Club, so that you have friends who will do these things with you.
There you go.
I went for a walk, and it was wonderful. Got to take the dog out. Scout's getting old, so we're worried she can't hike like she used to.
I think she would have been okay because it was cooler on this morning's hike, whereas this whole summer's just been so hot, but it was strenuous, so I do fear she would be really tired. She's currently sleeping, and you said the walk pretty much knocked her out, so I think it was the right move for you to take her, not me.
When I went on a walk, she acted like a crazy person. She bit the leash for half the time. I was with friends from a gym we used to go to, and I was like, she's really, really embarrassing me, but this is what she does. On the way home from the walk, I was walking home from the walk that I went on, and she was just stopping in the shade and refusing to move. And I was like, see what you did to yourself? If you just paced yourself a little bit more, we wouldn't be in this position. But it's hard when you have such a little dog brain, and she's breathing in these fumes too. So we're all a little bit loopy.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us.
Let's get into our highlight reel for this week. Let's start with the Women's Lacrosse League. The Women's Lacrosse League, or the WLL, is a professional lacrosse league owned and organized by the Premier Lacrosse League, the PLL. It has 4 teams: the Boston Guard, the California Palms, the Maryland Charm, and the New York Charging. And they had their first ever WLL championship this past weekend, and it was the Maryland Charm versus the California Palms. The Maryland Charm beat the California Palms 16-13 to claim the league's first championship title. It looked like such a fun match. Everyone was getting really into it, and Sydney Black for the Maryland Charm was named the championship MVP. She had this sick goal where she broke the defender's ankles and was able to score. The Maryland Charm take it home. In the history books, you can't take that away from them.
That's a great way to start it.
All right, let's cruise right along into the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations final this past Sunday, where Cameroon played Malawi, and Cameroon beat Malawi 3-0. This final was particularly historic because neither Cameroon or Malawi had previously won the WAFCON, is what they're calling it, the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. This was Cameroon's 4th WAFCON final after losing in 2004, 2014, and 2016 to Nigeria. Before coming into this match, they had never won the tournament and failed to score in all 3 previous of the finals, and they score 3 this past Sunday. This was also Malawi's first ever WAFCON final. Malawi is notable because they have Casey Curran, an NWSL star, Temwa Chawinga. She plays for Malawi alongside her sister, Tabitha Chawinga, who plays for Lyon in Europe. Unfortunately, Malawi was not able to score in this match, but both Cameroon and Malawi secured direct qualification for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup in Brazil, and Cameroon received an additional $2 million for winning this final. We love to see it. Okay, let's talk about the WNBA.
We are going to talk about the Indiana Fever versus the Dallas Wings during Rivalry Week. And the Indiana Fever did win this game 98-87.
Rivalry Week is really just where they bring teams together, players versus each other. So this was considered a rivalry because it was Paige Bueckers versus Caitlin Clark, but it really just a way to get some promotion in the middle of the season.
A lot of this game, those two were going back and forth and going at it, and it was a fun game to watch. Indiana did trail at halftime 37-35. So for most of the game, this was really close. And then in the second half, that's when it flipped and started to go Indiana Fever's way. Caitlin Clark did score 16 points in the third quarter, and Aaliyah Boston scored 10 of her 16 total points in the fourth quarter, and that's when they started to pull away late in the game.
Yeah, in the fourth quarter alone, the Fever outscored Dallas 32-21, and they were able to spread this out into an 11-point victory. Caitlin Clark had 29 points, 10 assists, and she became the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 700 career assists, doing it in just 83 games.
Outside of Caitlin Clark's performance, I would say a real highlight was watching Kelsey Mitchell during this game. She was on fire. She is just so fun to watch, and she had 23 points during this game.
I also thought it was really great for Ty Harris for the Indiana Fever. She finished with 15 points. Off the bench, she went a perfect 5 for 5 from 3-point range. And this was awesome because she hadn't made a field goal in her previous 6 games. So to come off the bench and just be perfect was really incredible.
The announcers were talking a lot about Ty Harris during this game because they said she had been in a slump and were really impressed with her scoring output. I know what it's like to be in a slump, so I was happy to see that for her because it is not fun not being able to score. And obviously, I don't know, maybe someone said something to her or she fired herself up. Sometimes you just need one thing to go right and see that one shot go in, and she had a good day for it.
How do you get out of a slump?
Ooh, I haven't played in a while, but just got to try to stay positive. Sometimes I need some outside reinforcement, positive reinforcement. I think there's different ways. What about you?
I was never in a slump, mostly because I was never in a groove.
What about hitting? Softball.
Oh, it's such a mental mind game. I think you just have to focus on the positive, especially in softball, of am I making contact? And if I'm making contact, just having trust that it's going to break through at some point. Getting back to the basics and going back into the batting cages, I think was always helpful. But again, I wasn't a great hitter, so it was never like I was popping off. I thought you were going to say shoot first, last, and always to get out of a slump.
Oh, yeah, that is the Brogan way.
That is your family tagline.
Yeah. Honestly, I think for basketball, it's like try to do something good on defense and just anything positive to get your mind right. It takes, it could be a lot of things.
Yeah, and for a bench player, that's really difficult to do because you don't have a ton of time and you may get pulled out if you make a mistake. And so everything feels a little bit more heightened. So really cool for Ty Harris. South Carolina alum, of course.
Yes, and then for the Dallas Wings, you have Paige Bueckers, who scored 29 points. She had some threes, some mid-range shots, some of her ball handling. I am just constantly amazed by Paige Bueckers, and it is fun to watch her play.
Her ability to just get to her spot where her shooting percentage is just so high is incredible. And the Indiana Fever were actually double teaming her off screens, which I thought was an interesting tactic. She handled it okay, though, and was able to work through it, but yeah, every time I'm like, Paige, just get to your spot. She just has such a high probability of making it. It's really incredible. The Wings were missing several important contributors in this game, including AZ Fudd and Jessica Shepard. I really think they needed Jessica Shepard down there, down low for this matchup. And I'm hoping they can both come back because playoffs are around the corner.
What does this mean as we get closer to the playoffs?
I think for Indiana, after this game, they improved to 22-12, and they remain in this upper half of the playoff field. So they're looking for a top 4 seed in the playoffs so they can get home court advantage in the first round. So they're trying to ride some momentum. And for Dallas, after this match, they fall to 20-15, and they're in this number 8 seed spot at the time of recording. So they're still in the playoff field, but they have very little margin for error. Top 8 teams make it into the playoffs. So with these injuries towards the end, I'm like, come on, Dallas, you have the parts here to make something work, but you need to start finding your stride soon.
Definitely. All right, with that, let's get into some updates we have this week, starting with Run Club. We have Run Club this Thursday and every Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time here in Denver at the 99ers Sports Bar. If you listen each week, we share a secret word where you will get 50% off your first draft. The secret word this week is Chicago Sky.
Ooh, I think I know why. We'll talk about it in a bit. We also need to take this time to ask you to please rate and subscribe to our podcast. We love to put this podcast together. We want to continue to do it. So please rate, subscribe, give us a positive review, and share this podcast with people you love. Thank you to everyone who has rated the podcast so far. If you send us a screenshot of your 5-star rating, we will send you a Women's Sports Weekly sticker for free in the mail.
All right, let's get into our deep dive. Let's start off with the Hall of Fame that took place over the weekend. So the 2026 Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame class included Candace Parker, Elena Delle Donne, Chamique Holdsclaw, and the legendary 1996 U.S. Olympic women's basketball team. To have Elena Delle Donne and Candace Parker up there in one night was pretty special.
Very special for you. We should have been there. Why did we not make plans?
I don't know, but watching the replays of the speeches, both Candace Parker and Elena Delle Donne just broke down crying, talking about the game. Chamique Holdsclaw, also a former Tennessee women's basketball player, just a dominant class going into the Hall of Fame over the weekend.
I'm still holding out that maybe Elena Delle Donne could come back, but it didn't sound like it from her speech. I also just really loved that Candace Parker was like a lot more upfront about her sexuality, even made a joke about it, and Elena Delle Donne was so complimentary of her wife Amanda, and I just was like, that's really awesome.
Yeah, she called out her wife Amanda quite a bit in her speech. She also spoke about her family a lot in her speech. For those who may not know, she was recruited to play at UConn. She has a sister who's both blind and deaf and also has developmental disabilities. And it was really difficult for Elena to be at UConn, which was further away from her family. And her sister, who she was very close with, she ended up transferring to Delaware, which Delaware was not a basketball school. She made it one for the years that she was there, and she did amazing things there. But for her to talk about her family, it's just so clear that that's always been her priority.
Yeah.
Some of the highlights they were showing, just how amazing she was as a player and someone who cares so much and how much she cares about the people in her life. I just thought that was really powerful.
And she mentioned her sister Lizzie a lot in the speech and said, she's the strongest person I know. And she's never got a standing ovation from playing a game or all of these things that her sister has not had the opportunity to do that Elena Delle Donne has. But Elena's like, yeah, I have all these things that I've done, but Lizzie is the strongest person I know, which I thought was a really incredible tribute to take that time to do that.
It was really special. And I would say Candace Parker and Elena Delle Donne on. Both of their speeches were really love letters to basketball, and they took some time to reflect on what the game has given them. And like I said, both of them really struggled to get through their speeches and were emotional, and I can't imagine their whole life was basketball. They were just dominant players. Coming to terms with them being done and being inducted into the Hall of Fame, it's pretty cool.
Candace Parker brought a basketball up to the podium with her and was pretty much like, it's you and me. We've been through this. We've been through all of this together.
Yes. And Candace was funny. She talked about her dunk over UConn. She said, yeah, I'm going to still be talking smack up here. If you know her, she is not a UConn fan, and she makes that very clear and continues to do so. And then Chamique Holdsclaw also honored Pat Summitt and the 1996 Olympic team. She said she had posters of those players on her wall growing up, which I also think is very special.
It's also interesting. These players were honoring the generations that came before them. And on like a let's make this about me note, they are our age, close to it. And it's like, wow, we're at the age where people are getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. And that just makes me feel really, really old. I notice it more and more. I was on a walk this past weekend and someone was like, did you play sports? And I'm like, yeah, I did. But it feels like I can't even talk about it anymore because I'm just so removed from that time. It's been over 10 years since I graduated from college.
Yeah.
That's wild to me. And I'm like, I can't relate to any of these young folks anymore.
Totally. But congratulations to these three amazing players. Very cool to see them honored and well-deserved.
Yeah, let's get into what we're looking forward to this week. Danielle, tell us what we're up to.
We are very excited about this upcoming weekend because we are headed to Chicago to see the Chicago Sky play the Golden State Valkyries. This game is on Friday, August 21st at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on WNBA League Pass. If you've been a longtime listener, you've heard our terrible story when we tried to get to Chicago last year and many flights got canceled and we never made it. So this is our revenge tour. I really hope it works out this time.
What are you most looking forward to in Chicago?
Ooh, it's going to be fun to, one, Skylar Diggins is there, and then I'm really excited to see the Valkyries play live, see Gabby Williams play live, and I'm excited to see you witness your first live WNBA game.
Yeah, it's really incredible for doing this podcast now for over 2 years and just being a women's sports fan for so long. To not have been to a WNBA game yet seems criminal, but I'm really excited that Chicago is going to be my first game. I'm really excited they're playing the Valkyries. I'm excited for some Chicago food and time with friends. I'm just looking forward to like a summer weekend in Chicago.
Yes, it will be great. Besides that, what are you also looking forward to?
The Women's Professional Baseball League is up and running, and they are crushing it. And on August 22nd, there is a doubleheader. The San Francisco Firebells take on the Boston Hunters at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And then the New York Heights play the Los Angeles Queens at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And all games are streamed on ESPN+. That's it for this week. We will see you next week on Women's Sports Weekly. In the meantime, watch women's sports and share the podcast with your friends. Rate and subscribe to the pod on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Thanks for joining us.